The Premier League is just 1 week away. So here are my final predictions for the season 23-24, going from 20th all the way to 1st. Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're already a subscriber, I hope you're having an extra special day. If you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's some amazing content coming up throughout the season. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So starting in 20th, unfortunately, is going to be Luton Town. I mean, they had their fairy tale story of them from, I think they're going from the 6th division all the way to the Premier League. But I feel that the Premier League, the competition at this level is just too high for them. I don't think they've signed enough players, and the quality of their players at the moment is not good enough. So I think unfortunately they're going to go right back down. And in 19th, unfortunately, I think is going to be Sheffield United. I mean, last season, all three of the promoted teams stayed up, but I think already I've predicted two of them to go back down. Again, I think with Sheffield United, again, their quality is just not there. I think as of now, they just have Brewster and I think Ollie McBurney as their strikers. And I think at the Premier League level, they're just not going to cut it and they're going to go right back down. In 18th is going to be Wolves. Unfortunately, I think they're finally going to pay the price. They've been slumping lower and lower season on season. They've let go of some huge players in Neves, Moutinho, Diego Costa, and even Jimenez, and not really replaced them in any way. There have been some, talks that even Lopetegui is not really happy with the direction that the club is going in, and I think they're going to go down this year. In 17, just surviving relegation by the skin of their teeth is going to be Bournemouth. Last season, they was pretty spectacular, given the situation that they were in. No one expected them to finish where they did. But I think, the second season syndrome is going to kick in for them, and they might go down, but I think they're just going to survive. So in 17th is going to be Bournemouth. In 16th, again, just about surviving relegation is going to be Nottingham Forest. Their owners have spent a lot of money to keep them up last season, and it did work. But a lot of the players who they got on loan have left, and as of now, their business has not been that great. But I think the quality that they have in their squad at the moment is good enough to keep them up. So one more season in the Premier League for them. In 15th, I think it's going to be West Ham, having lost their captain, one of the best players in recent memory for West Ham in Declan Rice. I think it's going to be a huge loss for them. They haven't really replaced him or signed anyone so far, and that's pretty troubling. But I feel Moyes is gonna get a tune out of these players, and I think they're good enough to survive. I think more importantly, there are teams that are way worse than them, so I think they're gonna be comfortable in mid-table. In 14th, I think it's gonna be Crystal Palace. Just like West Ham, they too have lost their talisman in Zaha, who has finally left the club and gone to Galatasaray to try something new. I think it's going to be really worrying if they lose Olise as well. He's been linked with a move to Man City or Chelsea. So if he leaves too, I would be worried for them. But I think as of now, they will survive. In 13th, I have Everton, and I think this prediction for Everton to finish 13 is purely down to Sean Dyche. I have faith in that man to drill this team solid enough for them to be difficult to play at home and a pain to play away. So I think they're gonna pick up a few wins. He's gonna get a tune out of the likes of Calvert Lewin and the others. So I think in 13 is going to be Everton. In 12th, I think it's going to be Fulham. I think the best thing they've done so far is not lose any of their star players. They've managed to hold on to Marco Silva. They've managed to hold on to Mitrovic as well as Palinia. And they've signed Calvin Bassey from Ajax, who's going to really solidify their backline. So I think they're going to be pretty comfortable. They had a pretty sensational season last year. I think no one really expected them to, coming right off the championship. No one expected them to, finish comfortably in mid-table. So I think it's going to be another season of just that. In 11th, I think this one is really going to surprise a few people, but I predict Burnley to finish 11th. Vincent Kompany is doing an absolute madness at Burnley. The style of football he's playing is completely different from what you traditionally think of Burnley to be. The Brexit football, the hard tackles, and the no-nonsense defending is out of the window. He's really from the Pep school of football. He's really got them playing some really, really sensational, football, and I think they're going to really surprise a few people, and I see them comfortably finishing in mid-table. In 10th is going to be Brentford, and I think I've placed them a little lower than I originally wanted to, given Ivan Toney's ban. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Visa and Mbeumo to really step up and fill in his goals. But they've really done well in the window. They have signed Flecken, their goalkeeper, and I think this means that they're expecting Raya to leave. But apart from that, they've signed Nathan Collins and Shard as well, to really bolster their defense as well as attack. So I think they're going to be comfortable. Not as great a season as they could have had with Tony, but comfortably 10th. In ninth, I think it's going to be Brighton and Hove Albion. Given the revolution that De Zerbi has, pulled off there, I think they've a sensationally run club. But, playing in Europa League now is going to be really tough for them. They haven't really bolstered the squad in the way I would have ideally liked, because they have signed Milner and a couple of other players. But, having lost the likes of McAllister and potentially losing Caicedo, they are two huge losses. And I think they will be comfortable, but not as good as last season. So 9 for them. In 8th is going to be Tottenham. I think Postecoglou is going to do well there, but I think I placed them 8th because of two key reasons. Firstly, they just don't have the defense to play the kind of way Postecoglou wants to play. Ange has usually played with a back four at Celtic, and he's really excelled that way. But if you look at Tottenham's defense right now, they don't have any fullbacks. All of their fullbacks are really wing backs, and they don't really have any solid defenders who can play as a back two. There's no real partner for Romero, and Romero himself also is pretty rash. And secondly, I think this summer Kane is going to leave. I don't see him staying, past this transfer window. So it's going to be really, it's not going to be a great season, but I think they're going to be okay in 8th. In 7th, I see Aston Villa finishing there. I'm a huge fan of Unai Emery. What he did last season is nothing short of a miracle. Taking a team that was in a relegation position all the way up to a Conference League position is pretty sensational. And, given the signings that they've made in Pau Torres, in Tielemans, as well as Moussa Diaby, all of whom I thought could have gone to a club of a higher caliber. But, them coming here is a real statement of intent from the Aston Villa owners. So I think they're going to have another really solid season. I think not move up, but they're going to really consolidate themselves as that team who's ready to break into the top 6. Up next in 6th, I think is going to be Chelsea. I think Pochettino does have a pretty difficult task on his hands, because he has pretty much a whole new squad. And this squad also is a little imbalanced, because they have really good quality players, but they have pretty much no midfield at the moment. Their front line is a little all over the place, and they still seem pretty stuck on Caicedo as their CDM. So unless they get that move in, I think it's going to be difficult for him. But I do have faith in Pochettino to get something out of this team. And I think maybe next season, like the season after this, they could sort of potentially push to move back into the top 4. But currently, I think I see them finishing in 6th. In 5th, I think is going to be Newcastle, and I think they'll sort of miss out on the top 4 mainly because of the Champions League football that they're also going to play. The signings of Tonali and Barnes are pretty amazing additions to the squad and really add more depth and competition within the squad. I think it's going to be a real test for them to, compete against the real big boys of Europe in, your Madrids, your Bayern, PSGs, and the clubs of that ilk. But I think it's going to be a great season. I think every Newcastle fan is looking forward to this. No matter where they finish, those Champions League nights at St. James's Park are going to be special. But I see them finishing in 5th. Up next in 4th is Manchester United. I think the Ten Hag revolution is in full force. The addition of Onana, Mason Mount and Højlund are going to be great additions to the squad and really mold the squad in Ten Hag's vision. They'll be able to play the football that he wants to play. But again, I think the Champions League football is going to have an impact on their Premier League season. I think they won't be able to, really focus on the Premier League. So I think they're going to finish 4th. Now in 3rd, it's going to be a resurgent Liverpool. I think the team together just need to forget about last season. Like, just think about it as a bad dream. The additions that they have made so far in McAllister and Szoboszlai, brilliant players. And I think they have lost quite a few midfielders, and especially Fabinho's loss is going to be huge. So I do think they have to sign a proper out and out CDM. But apart from that, their front line is amazing. I think Darwin Nunez in particular is going to have this is going to be his breakout season. I think if I had to predict, I think he would get between 15 and 20 Premier League goals. That's my prediction for him. So yeah, solid third position for Liverpool and a solid cup run. Maybe even go deep in the Champions League. Oops, they're not in the Champions League, but yeah, they're gonna have a good run in the Europa League. But in Premier League, they're gonna be third. And now in second, can I get a drum roll, please? It's Arsenal. Yes. Given that their signings, they have made some brilliant signings. I think Declan Rice in particular is gonna really change the team, change the way they play. Timber's addition is gonna be huge. But I still feel that they're not at that level, not at City's level yet. Um, but yeah, tell me, what do you think? Do you think Arsenal can really, beat City to the title, given their additions? Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, at number one is gonna be Man City. I just don't think anyone right now can touch this City team. The quality that they have, the experience that this whole team has, is next to none. And the addition of Guardiola is going to lock that backline even more. It's going to be pretty much impossible to get through that backline. And up front they have Terminator Haaland himself, banging in goals. So yeah, finally it's going to be Man City crowned champions again. So this is my final predictions for the Premier League for the upcoming 22-23 season, for 23-24 season. So guys, let me know, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching so far. If you have reached here, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think about my predictions. And if you want to know something, if you want me to make a video on something in particular, drop it down in the comments down below and I will certainly do it. Thank you. Peace.